What would happen if a small handful that many men dismiss as just a snack were quietly affecting endurance, focus, and the ability to support male hormones more than expected? And what would happen if, starting today, something as ordinary as cashews could begin helping regulate a few important systems in a better direction? I have spent many years translating nutrition science into guidance for men who want steadier, stronger health. Today, I will explain this in simple, useful language. Because this matters. Cashews are small, but what they may support is not small. Most men miss that, until much later. Stay with me, because there is one overlooked effect that surprises even men who care about their health, and a simple 10-second tip will appear later on. Welcome, and thank you for spending a little time here. Men chase performance support through powders and pills while overlooking the nutritional advantage hidden in food. That is the gap. Cashews are not a miracle, but using them consistently may provide support over time. Their value comes from steady nutrition, not from hype, extremes, or superfood thinking. Inside the male body, those fats, minerals, and plant compounds may help support energy production, muscle function, and nerve signaling. That builds up over the years. It matters for endurance, steadier mornings, clearer focus, and the kind of recovery men may notice in everyday life. Not just in the gym, cashews also support processes related to male hormones, because the body needs healthy fats, magnesium, zinc, and copper to regulate well over time. That does not mean one food can control your hormones, because real health never works that way. It means small effects, repeated every day, may quietly strengthen the foundation those systems depend on right now. The same logic also applies to focus, because brain cells and nerves need reliable nutrition, steady energy, and good nerve signaling, not just caffeine and wishful thinking. Simple habits often win, and this matters even more with age, when recovery slows down and the margin for wrong choices becomes smaller. Near the end, I will share a 10-second tip for using cashews more wisely every day. First, we will break down what may begin to change over time in energy, focus, strength, testosterone hormone support, recovery, and long-term male vitality. Then we will get to the deeper benefit that most men would never expect from an ordinary food. One of the first things many men may notice when cashews become a daily habit is not something flashy. It is often something steadier, a more reliable sense of drive, fewer empty energy dips, and a body that feels a little more cooperative instead of a little more worn down. That matters because male vitality is rarely one thing. It is usually a combination of hormone signaling, muscle support, mineral status, sleep quality, and how stable your energy feels across an ordinary day. When one of those areas starts slipping, confidence can slip with it. This is where cashews become more interesting than they look. They bring together healthy fats, plant protein, magnesium, and a modest but meaningful amount of zinc in one simple food. Zinc matters because it helps support normal testosterone production and male reproductive function, while magnesium supports muscle and nerve work, and healthy fats help the body build and manage hormones more effectively. Why does that matter to men? Because testosterone is not only about sex drive, it influences how driven you feel when the alarm goes off, how well you maintain muscle, how confident you feel in your own body, and how quickly you seem to recover from effort. When hormone support slips, men often do not say, "My hormones feel off." They just say they feel older, softer, flatter, or less interested in pushing themselves. That does not mean eating cashews turns testosterone into a switch you can flip. It does not work that way. But if your daily eating pattern has been low in key minerals, high in ultra-processed snacks, and inconsistent in quality, adding a nutrient-dense food each day can help create a better environment for hormone balance. And that better environment shows up in real life. It can mean more stable morning energy, a stronger response to training, fewer late afternoon crashes, and a more even sense of motivation. Men often describe this as feeling more like themselves again. Not supercharged, just less flat. If you're a strong man who wants to keep his edge, comment zinc below. And let that word remind you that small daily foods can truly support male vitality. Consistency is the real point. A handful once in a while is just a snack. A sensible daily portion becomes part of a pattern that may support energy, strength, recovery, and the everyday functions men usually care about most. And once you understand that, the next question becomes even more important. If cashews may help with male hormone support up front, What are they doing for the rest of the system that testosterone depends on? There is also a modern lifestyle reason this matters. Many men are underfed in minerals and overfed in calories too. They eat enough to gain weight, but not enough of the foods that actually support repair, hormone function, and appetite control. That is why a simple whole food can feel surprisingly helpful. It does not just add nutrition. It can correct a common quality problem hiding inside a normal-looking diet. The deeper value often has less to do with one hormone and more to do with the terrain your body is operating on every day. Modern men are often trying to build strength, focus harder, recover faster, and stay leaner while eating in a way that quietly works against all four goals. Breakfast is rushed, lunch is processed, snacks come from wrappers. Then energy gets blamed on age alone. That is where cashews can start to earn more authority. They are not just giving you calories. They may help replace the kind of snack pattern that drives unstable blood sugar, poor satiety, and repeated cravings. Because cashews contain fat, some protein, and fiber, they digest more slowly than sweet snack foods and many refined carb choices. That slower digestion matters. When food hits fast, energy can rise fast and drop fast. Then focus slips, hunger comes back early, and men often reach for another quick hit. Over time, that pattern can make training feel harder, mood less stable, and waistline control more frustrating. It also creates the kind of metabolic background that does not favor healthy testosterone status or long-term resilience. Cashews do not erase that problem by themselves, but they can help change the rhythm. A daily serving between meals, or added to a balanced breakfast, may support steadier energy and better appetite control than pastries, chips, or sugary bars. That is not just a nutrition detail. It changes behavior, and behavior is what compounds. If a man feels fuller longer, he may snack less impulsively. If he snacks less impulsively, total sugar and processed food intake may fall without a heroic effort. If that happens for months, not days, body composition, recovery, and energy handling often become easier to manage. There is also a mineral story here that men often overlook. Magnesium helps support muscle contraction, nerve signaling, glucose handling, and sleep quality. Copper helps with energy production and connective tissue health. Healthy fats support cell membranes and hormone-related processes across the body. None of that sounds dramatic, but it is exactly why daily habits matter. The body runs on repeated signals. This is also where blood sugar stability becomes a male performance issue, not just a diabetes issue. When energy swings hard, training quality drops, sleep can suffer, hunger gets louder, and irritability rises faster. That whole chain makes discipline harder to maintain. A steadier snack pattern will not solve everything, but it can reduce how often your day gets pushed off course by the wrong kind of convenience food. This is the authority anchor of the script, because it connects mechanism, modern lifestyle, and future payoff in one line. Cashews may help not simply because they contain something good, but because they can replace something worse while feeding systems men rely on for energy, metabolic stability, and durability. There is another quiet benefit in this section too. When men choose a food that is crunchy, satisfying, and nutrient-dense, they often feel less deprived than they do on restrictive diets. That matters because the best nutrition habit is usually the one you can repeat without resentment. A small serving of cashews can feel like a real snack, not a punishment, which makes long-term consistency far more realistic. That is a stronger kind of benefit. It is not about hype. It is about giving the male body better raw material and fewer daily collisions. And once that foundation improves, another payoff starts to matter more than many men expect. Mental sharpness is part of male vitality too. Most men think about strength first, but the ability to stay focused, make decisions clearly, and keep mental energy stable through the afternoon is just as important. That is especially true when stress, poor sleep, and too much convenience food are already pushing the brain in the wrong direction. Cashews may help here in a quiet way. Their magnesium and healthy fats support normal nerve and cell function, and their slower digestion profile may help reduce the sharp energy swings that can leave you feeling scattered. Some men do not need more caffeine. They need fewer food crashes. That real-life difference is easy to miss until it starts happening. Meetings feel less draining. Training after work feels more possible. Patience lasts longer. You are not fighting the same mental drag every day. Again, consistency wins. A daily portion will not turn brain fog into brilliance overnight, but it may support a steadier mental platform when it replaces the kind of snack that pulls your attention up and down all day. And when focus improves, another male concern naturally comes into view: reproductive health. Mental performance also depends on not living in a constant state of nutritional overcorrection. Many men swing between undereating, caffeine reliance, and sudden heavy meals. That pattern can leave the brain feeling either flat or overstimulated. A steadier food choice can make the whole afternoon feel less reactive. Sometimes better focus starts with less chaos, not with more stimulation. This is where zinc deserves more attention, because men usually hear the word testosterone and stop there. But zinc is also tied to male reproductive function, including sperm health and other processes linked to fertility. That does not make cashews a fertility treatment. It makes them a practical food that can support some of the nutritional groundwork. That distinction matters. Male fertility is rarely controlled by one food, one mineral, or one perfect habit. It is shaped by total lifestyle pressure, sleep, body weight, heat exposure, alcohol, movement, metabolic health, and nutrient intake over time. Cashews fit into that picture because they offer zinc, healthy fats, and supportive minerals in a form that is easy to repeat. In real life, that can matter for men who feel run down, train hard, work long hours, or eat too many refined foods and not enough whole foods. When the body is under constant strain, reproduction is not always the top priority. Better nutritional consistency can help the body stop operating in that constant scramble. This also loops back to confidence. Men do not separate hormones, fertility, energy, and drive as neatly as textbooks do. They experience them together. When daily nutrition supports the systems behind those functions, men often feel more steady, more capable, and less depleted. So, by this point, cashews are already doing more than most people expect. They may support male hormone balance, help improve the metabolic background around energy, keep mental performance steadier, and contribute to reproductive health. But there is still one layer left, and it may be the most practical of all. The fertility angle also has a future value many men miss. Even for men who are not actively trying to conceive, reproductive health can reflect broader metabolic and hormonal health. In other words, the same nutritional pattern that supports sperm-related function may also support the systems behind vitality, recovery, and male resilience more generally. The body does not divide these roles as neatly as people do in conversation. Long-term resilience is where simple foods prove their worth, not in one dramatic week, but in how they help the body hold up over time. Cashews bring magnesium, copper, protein, and healthy fats that support muscles, connective tissue, bone-related processes, nerve function, and recovery. For men, that matters because vitality is not just about feeling driven. It is about staying physically capable. A man who feels energetic but recovers poorly will still feel older than he wants to. A man who cares about testosterone but ignores muscle support, sleep, and structural health is still leaving value on the table. The body works as a team. Cashews can fit that team approach very well when the portion is sensible. They may work as part of a breakfast with fruit and yogurt, added to oatmeal, paired with a piece of fruit in the afternoon, or used to replace a processed snack late in the day. In each case, the value is not just the cashew itself. It is the pattern it helps create. That pattern may support better training consistency, steadier mood, improved fullness, and fewer careless food choices that pull energy down. Over months, that can help a man protect the physical edge he still has, rather than slowly trading it away to convenience. There is another reason the structural support section matters after 30, 40, and beyond. Men gradually lose muscle and recovery margin if training, protein intake, sleep, and mineral status are inconsistent. That makes every good habit more valuable. Cashews cannot stop aging, but they can sit inside a pattern that helps a man preserve more of his strength, function, and physical confidence for longer. Here is a simple 10-second tip. Before you eat cashews, look at the portion and stop at a small, closed handful. For most men, that is enough to get the benefit without letting the calories quietly outrun the purpose. That tip matters because cashews are helpful, but they are also dense. If the handful turns into repeated grazing, the same food that supports vitality can begin to work against weight control. This is where mature health advice beats exciting health advice. Practical use matters here. Salted, sugar-coated, or heavily seasoned cashew products can push the habit away from its original purpose. Plain or lightly salted cashews usually make more sense, especially when you want the food to support steadier energy rather than trigger overeating. Context matters too. Eating them with fruit or yogurt will usually serve your body better than pairing them with sweets and calling it balance. So what may happen after you begin eating cashews every day? You may be giving your body a steadier supply of minerals and fats that support testosterone-related function, muscle work, brain performance, and reproductive health. You may be replacing a weaker snack habit with a smarter one. And you may be building a daily rhythm that favors male resilience instead of constant depletion. That is the real payoff, not a miracle. A better direction, repeated daily, often enough to matter. What matters most is the full pattern, not one flashy promise. Cashews may support several parts of male health at once, including testosterone-related function, energy steadiness, focus, reproductive health, and long-term physical resilience. That broader value is what makes the habit worth considering. At the same time, the message should stay realistic. Cashews are not a hormone cure, a muscle shortcut, or an overnight answer for low energy. They are simply a useful food that may help when they are used consistently, in a sensible portion, and inside a balanced routine. That is where your control comes back in. Keep the serving moderate. Let a small, closed handful be enough. Pair them with a routine you already have, such as breakfast, an afternoon break, or the moment you usually reach for a packaged snack. Simple habits last longer when they have a fixed place in the day. That is especially important for men who tend to overcorrect. More is not always better. A larger bowl does not create faster benefit, and repeated mindless snacking can easily turn a helpful habit into excess calories. Plain or lightly salted cashews usually make the most sense, and they work best when they replace a weaker snack instead of simply getting added on top of everything else. If you have a medical condition or a very specific nutrition plan, use this as support and not as a replacement for personal medical advice. The goal is quiet support, not hype, and the men who benefit most are usually the ones who stay patient. If this gave you a clearer picture, share it with a man who wants better energy and steadier health. Subscribe for more plain language guidance that respects real life. And comment below with one word: cashews, if you already eat them daily, or start, if you plan to begin. Thank you for being here. Small daily choices can shape how a man feels, performs, and ages. Stay steady, stay practical, and take good care of your health. I will see you in the next one.